All right, men's 100. Who's the favorite? There's contenders for favorite, right? You have the Christian Coleman defending world champion. You have Fred Curley, the top returner from the Olympics and the silver medalist. Then you got Trayvon Bromell, who during the regular season seems to, win most of the time, has one of the top seeds. So it's one of those three. And I'm going to go with Trayvon Bromell as the favorite. He won the trials in 2021. He's a top seed. Coleman hasn't really done enough for his 2019 world title to trump what Bromell has done. And Curley,
Mhm.
he's good. He shows up when it counts, but I think Curley is more likely to finish better at Worlds than he is at USA's, and that's what happened last year. So I think Trayvon Bromell is the favorite. And if you disagree with me, you're just wrong. I'm just kidding. Do you agree
Uh,
with me or disagree with me?
I no, I agree. I agree. I'm not because I'm shying away from the argument, but the pre-classic win means something. That has to count. And then you look at everybody else. You're right. Coleman outdoors, he hasn't looked terrific. He had the race in Japan, the 10-0. He had the pre-race where he lost, and then he had the race in New York where he ran 9, beat your guy Akeem Blake, but only by a very small margin. So I don't think you can say it's Coleman. I almost think the other choice would have been Curly in this instance, but again, he got him at pre-classic, and that has to count for something. Now, I think you're right though to separate this between US and worlds because I think what we should do and what we should remind ourselves is we should just do a hard reset after this meet. And I don't think we should read too much into the US results when it comes. Now, I know world championships are going to be right around the corner, but it's possible for the person who gets third or even fourth in this race, because remember, Coleman has the bye. It's possible for the person who gets, doesn't win this race to turn around and get world championship gold. Like that is definitely possible. But I think in this race, in this setting, Bromell is the favorite.
Fair enough. All right, sleepers. This is a hard
Mm,
one because it feels like disrespectful to call anyone here a sleeper because, we're going to be calling maybe a 9-8 guy a sleeper. It's like, come on, 9-8 and you're a sleeper. But
mhm,
when I think about sleepers, I think Marvin Bracey is a notorious sleeper. I think he runs well during the regular season. People forget about him because he has one bad race or gets a minor hamstring injury.
mhm.
He I think right now no one is picking Marvin Bracey to be top three when you have that big three of Bromell, Curley, and Coleman. And so I think Marvin
Mhm.
Bracey is the sleeper, in my opinion.
I like that you referred to him as notorious sleeper. That's a cool
Notorious
handle.
sleeper. Yeah.
That could be your new Reddit handle. I went
Notorious
somebody who's
sleeper.
a little bit more off the radar because I felt the same way you did in that a lot of these gentlemen have made an argument at some point or another of being able to qualify. Williams from Oregon, Bednarik, obviously, they don't count as sleepers. I settled on Cravant Charleston. He's run 998 this year. I just think it's going to be very hard for any of these sleepers to work their way into that top four. I mean, maybe, but the only reason we're saying that there's a possibility is because of how Williams looked at NCAAs. And I think if Makai Williams won NCAAs, we'd say for sure he's going to make the team. But because he struggled, I think that opens the door a little bit for someone to join Coleman, Bromell, and Curley on the team. Is that how you feel?
Yeah. Um, I think Coleman, Curley, and Bromell is the cutoff. But I kind of still believe in Williams. I
Same.
think I think one bad race at NCAAs, he wasn't his normal self. I don't think that should, dictate what we think of him for the rest of his season. And I think that was one bad race. And I think we can't forget, he was running out of his mind
Mhm.
all the way up until that
Yeah.
moment. So I don't think one failure should, overlap all of his successes. So with that said, Coleman, I don't know if he's going to run all the rounds. So I'm gonna give my top four, which also include a Coleman. So my
Yeah.
top four, which include a Coleman, because Coleman has the bye. I think Bromell wins. I think Curley gets second. I think Coleman gets third, and I think Williams gets fourth, but also gets an individual spot because Coleman has the bye.
That's the exact order I had. Bromell, Curley, Coleman, Williams. Not very exciting.
Well,
No
you know,
disagreement here.
it's good that you are smart enough to agree with me. Sometimes it takes a while. It took a whole hour and a half show yesterday for you to come around and realize my my order is the order. So I appreciate that.
So, do you think Williams is going to feel more pressure in this race or NCAA's?
I think the NCAA still is probably more pressure because you're
I
representing
agree.
Oregon, and it's you're
The
the
favorite.
favorite. You want to win. You haven't won an NCAA title. You just have all this like I
Mhm.
want it here. He knows like it's okay to lose to you know world champions or
Yeah.
Olympic silver medalists. So I think there's less pressure here, and that might help him because now he's not trying to win. He's trying to get top three. A little bit of a less of a pressure, and I think that's gonna benefit him because I think he's gonna run well. I think he's gonna run fast. He's gonna run well, and I think he'll finish fourth, but it'll be a fast fourth. It'll probably be one of the fastest fourth place finishes we've ever seen.
And he did really well at USA's last year too. So he's used to
Yeah,
jumping in to the big race and running well. I think pressure matters when it comes to sprinting, field events too, and just having a little bit of it off, I think will benefit him. But yeah, I'm predicting the big bounce back, and then we'll do the thing where we'll say, hey, he was sixth, seventh, whatever he was at NCAA's, and because he knew it. You go back and you watch that race, he knew he was out of it, and he just you could like the last
yeah.
20 meters, you could see it on his face, just like ah, blew it, and then shut it down. So I think whatever happened, he can fix it and get right for the USA. So we got the same top four there.